I am Jake.
And I'm Kurt.
And you're watching
Chaos TV.
Hello everyone, we're here at Nosturi, Helsinki, Finland with Converge, Kurt and Jacob. How has the current year been tour going so far?
Tour's been good. We've been on tour for a while and it's winding down. I have like 2 more weeks to go. It's been a positive tour. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I would agree with that, Jacob.
Wonderful, Kurt.
You're toured here with Two Some More, A Storm of Light and The Secret. How has the chemistry between bands been so far?
It has been excellent. We're all friends and we've known all of the bands in some capacity for a while. So it makes it easy to tour with our friends.
Any crazy memories from this tour you would like to share with us?
We're not really good at crazy stories. I don't know if it's because we're a bit numb to the fact that every day is a bit weird and crazy. I mean, the ferry here is crazy, you know. Well, I mean, you just have this like really interesting mix of young and old Russian and Polish people for the most part on the ferry that are just kind of drinking a lot and in a confined space for a long time. And it's almost like watching reality television in the States, where there's people falling downstairs, puking, crushing beer cans on their heads, throwing beers, and we're just sitting there watching it. It's interesting to us. It's kind of wild, but you know, tour is a lot of repetition. It's fun playing. It's fun interacting with people, but usually the concept of wild tour stories and crazy things, it doesn't really exist. I think, you know, I at least personally, I don't really think it is. There's a wild guy.
One of the drunk Russians from the ferry.
Drunk Russian. That was Ben's good impression of what we interact with, but you know, tour's always a little wild and crazy. It becomes normal to us, and we just try to avoid really crazy situations. We just want to get through a tour and be, you know, healthy and happy.
Because of your history, you have a lot of records, and a lot of songs. So is it hard nowadays to pick a good set list?
We mostly do the same set over the course of a tour. We may make a few small changes, but yeah, we do have a lot of songs, but we tend to make changes from tour to tour. Like, you know, like on this tour we're playing, you know, these are the old songs we're playing in this tour, and then on the next tour we'll pick a different set of old songs to play, so that you know, we're not constantly playing the same material. One of the hard things for us in determining a live set is that there's a lot of different tunings that we use, so the songs need to kind of be blocked into certain tunings. Otherwise the set would be painfully long, as I'm like retuning constantly, and you know, it's kind of a pain in the ass, but we work within those confines and just try to come up with like a fun, exciting set that, you know, people will be into seeing.
Are you familiar with Finnish hardcore scene?
I know Circle and Rotten Sound and what's Aaron's other new band called? With the guys from Circle.
Split Cranium?
Yeah, Split Cranium. Yeah, I don't know too much about Finnish hardcore.
I hear about bands from time to time. I've heard of that band before, but I've never listened to them. I don't really listen to too much hardcore on a daily basis, mainly because I'm surrounded by so much of it, and my day-to-day work is in that, so I don't really listen to all that much heavy music in general. The Lighthouse Project, I remember that band sending me a record that was pretty good at one point as well.
What about Fintroll?
Is Fintroll from Finland? Yeah. Makes sense, right? Mm. Is Amorphous from Finland? What? Amorphous? Yes. Yep. Nightfish. I know Amorphous. I don't know Nightwish, but I've seen the name before. It's funny because we see so many logos and see things, like you kind of start to pick up on who bands are and their character. But yeah, I'm sure there's him. I know they practice here, but I don't really know anything about the band.
Yeah, all I know is from seeing like girls with the heartogram tattoo on their bellies.
Yeah, they got really in the States. They were really prominent for a long time, but I don't know much about that music. It's just I have a general impression of what it is, and it's just not really my style of things. I usually like things that are a little more experimental and underground, to be honest.
Your latest album, All We Love, We Leave Behind, has got really good reviews among press, and have even read few ones saying that it's the best one to date. What kind of feedback have you received from the album, and have you pleased with it?
I'm very happy with the album. We don't really pay attention to press all that much, but it's always nice to have some kind of positive affirmation that people like what we've been doing. We're just wanting to make the best record that we can make, that we're all happy with ourselves, and I think that we achieve that. But as long as we can keep making records, that's all that really matters to me. If enough people like what we're doing and buy our records and come to our shows, that we can keep making records and keep playing shows, and that I'm happy.
I enjoy the record. It's a little difficult for me towards the end of a tour, or not end of a tour, end of a record making process, because I spend so much time. I spend so much time in the creative process of making a record. So much time creating the visuals, and we spend so much time recording. I spend time during that process of refining lyrical content and trying to express those ideas. So it's very draining in a way. Towards the end, you just want the process to almost be over, where you're not really sure what kind of record you made. I know
I'm back.
He's back. I know sometimes when like when Kurt and I have talked about, like when he mixes a record, for example, and he's mixing a record for a long time, sometimes you don't even know if a record's good anymore because you spent so much time on it. But I felt pretty positive about this record once we wrapped it all up, so it was a good thing for us.
Do you read reviews of your music, or do you try to avoid them?
I don't really pay much attention to reviews, but we do see them inadvertently sometimes. Yeah, we get them, like Epitaph will send us things and whatnot.
It's not like we make a record to go look for reviews for us so that we can be like, oh, I feel good about myself.
Yeah, like I personally, I don't need that kind of assurance, and I'm a bit of a weird person where I don't think I would do well with like searching that sort of stuff out. It has importance, and it has meaning if you pay attention to it and if you give it weight. So if you start paying attention to outside opinions of your music and your band, you're supplying it with strength. But if you just disregard it and you just continue making music the way you've always made it, then what you're doing stays a bit more pure to your intention. So that's what I'm mainly concerned with.
You just won Best Metal Hardcore Artist of the Year awards from at Boston Music Awards. So congratulations on that. How do you feel such as recognition of your work, and do you really care about winning anything, or you just see it as a bonus?
I guess it's a bonus. I don't really care, but I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad like Axl Rose was when he got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but it doesn't really affect us. I mean, that's an award we've been nominated for many times. I mean, I think going back to the late '90s or mid to late '90s, but I don't know. I don't think we've won it before. I don't know. I don't have much of an opinion.
Yeah, rewards are tough, and like accolades are tough because punk rock and hardcore and metal is kind of an adversarial community. We're not here for trophies. We're not here to be popular. Because there's a glass ceiling to what all of this is. We're here to make our music.
I wonder if you're doing something wrong when you win it.
Right. So it's sort of strange when you have an outside person going, "Hey, your band is great." We didn't, but we don't really care. It's just, to us, it's just playing is fun and making music's fulfilling, and that's pretty much it. It's a nice secondary thing. It probably makes it a little easier to explain to like family or somebody that you do something that is somehow artistically relevant. That's not involved in this community. But that's pretty much it. I'm grateful the fact that we have an audience and people pay attention and want to give us accolades. But again, not the point, not the goal.
How important tool is Facebook or Twitter for bands nowadays?
Social networking is important just because you're interacting with people. With our Facebook, though, I think we have it's 9 or 10 administrators on it. So it's all of us and the people at Epitaph as well. Can post information about our band and things that are relevant, that are happening. So it's good. We try to interact with people as much as possible. We all do it. Our record label does it with us as well. And yeah, just everybody who's kind of involved. If I see something that's Converge related that hasn't been posted somewhere, someone sends me, we stick it up there. It's really that simple. It's not that coordinated. I just think it's important to share information about what you're doing with people on that grassroots level.
A lot of music being now also released digitally. What's your opinion about digital downloads or streaming service such as Spotify?
I think it's cool. However people want to access music and enjoy music is great with me. Personally, I like to have a physical product in front of me when I'm immersing myself in an album. I like to see artwork, and I like to or there's something about digital product feels temporary to me. It feels like I'm renting the content rather than actually owning it. For me, the experience is more about a physical product, but I'm from a different generation, so however people want to enjoy music is fine with me, as long as they're enjoying music.
Converge has been going on now for 22 years. What do you guys see the main reason for bands such a long-lasting career?
I think we've been lucky to find, the right group of like-minded people who actually enjoy playing music together and feel as though we're actually creating something relevant. And as long as we feel that together, I think we'll continue to make music.
I agree. It's really that simple. It's not complicated. I think bands overthink it all the time. You got to do things on your own schedule when you feel motivated to do it. If we feel motivated to tour, to write, we do it when we want to. We don't play the game. We're not involved in the ego measuring contest that record labels and other bands have with one another. We just have fun, make this as positive as possible. It's the only trick.
What else do you do for a living?
My studio pays for all my living expenses and my mortgage and all that stuff, and Converge is like my, going out to eat kind of money and buying food, and but it provides me some extra money. Sometimes I'm able to invest a little bit of money in equipment and stuff in my studio. But between my band and my studio, everything I make goes back into music. That's not, everything that's not a living expense goes back into music. We're not some wealthy band or anything with fancy cars or summer houses or anything like that.
That would be amazing, but yeah.
We are fortunate, at least that we're able to earn a living through music, through all of our various musical projects.
Yeah, it's not just this specifically. I own a record label that I've owned for 12 years. I have the band. I'm a fine artist. I do fine artwork. I do print work. I do design work for other bands. I own a retail store with my wife. All those things are all creative, entrepreneurial efforts, and with all of those things, I can do well for myself, and I can provide for for the life that I'm trying to have at home. But again, it's a lot of work. I think some people buy into the fantasy that bands can go on tour and sell X amount of records and live off that, and that's just really not the case anymore. It doesn't exist that way. We all have, Kurt works 10-hour days, 12-hour days at home when he's working for a band. My days aren't any shorter than that. So it's still a grind, but it's a fun grind because it's something that we want to do, and it's something that we feel I just feel really positive about doing, is being creative people.
How do you manage to have Converge tour and still able to work? Have there been times that you just have to say no to Converge and work with something else?
Both ways. Sometimes I have to say no to recording projects and yes to Converge, or vice versa. We just have to plan our lives a long time in advance. Like right now, I have almost every day in my calendar planned until like mid-June.
Yeah, we just did the 6-month plan. Yeah, so we 6 months out. We're planned right now.
What about other members?
The other guys are a little more flexible because they, their side projects are other bands and more independent work. But they don't have schedules as strict as ours.
Yeah, I think theirs are maybe like 3 months out versus like 6 months out because they have other bands that tour and things like that.
Yeah.
A lot of bands has nowadays licensed their own products. For example, In Flames has whiskey and Motorhead has wine. So, what product would you license under name Converge?
That the idea of selling AppleCare for T-shirts. That's what was it?
Yeah,
that's your idea. It's your idea. Okay, no. Well, that's a good idea though.
It is a really good idea.
So,
really good ideas.
Kurt, I will sort of paraphrase Kurt's idea, and he can correct me. But we want to sell the equivalent of AppleCare for T-shirts and band merchandise that they purchase at a show. So, for example, we have instances like in Stockholm the other day. A wonderful person purchased a long sleeve T-shirt, went around the show, lost it, came back to the table and said, "I bought the shirt earlier. I've lost it. Can I have another one?" Just to give him another one. Well,
actually, that doesn't work.
That's a complete loss. However, but if he bought AppleCare on it, and we had maybe a replacement policy, that could have worked.
Yeah.
If he purchased maybe insurance on it for 50% of the value, right? That could work. Or if someone gets a tear in a shirt, or if it wears out and they want to bring it back to the merch table years later, right?
That's the key. For me, the key to the Converge AppleCare is like you buy a shirt for say like €15 or whatever, and then if you want the Converge Care, it's like €20. But then you can come back in 3 years, and so long as the shirt is not too damaged, you can then trade the shirt in for a new shirt. So it ends up being like we only lose a couple euro on the deal, but then we have a shirt that's probably more valuable on eBay 3 years later than a new shirt is.
We create a whole new secondary market.
Yeah, so we have a secondary. We're
control.
reselling. It's like vintage denim. We're we're reselling vintage Converge shirts.
Exactly, and we can actually have them to say that they were aged and weathered in Finland, for example, and have a certificate of authenticity. Be great. It'd be really good.
Thank you for the interview. And good luck for the tonight's show. Anything you would like to say as a closer to your Finnish fans?
Thank you so much for supporting our band. It's a very, very good thing. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Wait.